I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. Like, we had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
It's truly remarkable how quickly a Hollywood star's reputation can change, especially for someone like Blake Lively, who once ruled the red carpet, fashion magazines, and TV talk shows. What's even more shocking is the way this beloved celebrity now finds herself at the center of a growing controversy. For years, Blake charmed fans with her effortless grace, style, and the way she connected with people. Yet, many didn't realize that behind the glitz and glam, a different story was beginning to unfold, one full of confusion, doubt, and a complex web of claims that the public is just starting to see unravel. The turning point came with her collaboration with Justin Baldoni on It Ends With Us, a movie that initially seemed like a simple, feel-good adaptation. However, the tension surrounding its release quickly spiraled into a media storm, pulling in everyone involved: Blake, Justin, producers, and even her influential circle of friends and family. While it initially appeared as though Blake was merely dealing with another round of gossip, the situation grew more complicated as leaks and testimonies started revealing that Blake herself was deeply entwined in the controversy. Early on, she painted Justin as the mastermind behind the negative press, claiming that he or his team had orchestrated the scandal. But as raw text messages and behind-the-scenes audio surfaced, a different narrative began to emerge with glaring inconsistencies in Blake's statements. Fans who once adored her began to notice signs of unease in past interviews and public appearances, where her actions seemed at odds with her polished image. The realization that these cracks had been forming long before It Ends With Us became a hit left many stunned.
I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, kind of like my outfit.
Blake Lively often dodged questions about collaboration, instead steering conversations back to herself, showing little concern for the people she was engaging with. These moments were brushed off as accidents or isolated incidents. However, in light of the current scandal, they now appear less like coincidences and more like signs of a different side to Blake's personality, one that was carefully hidden behind her polished public image. Things took a major turn when Blake refused to accept that her own actions or comments could be responsible for the negative perceptions of her. She quickly blamed Justin Baldoni and his team, claiming they were deliberately undermining her. At first, her defense seemed plausible given the cutthroat nature of Hollywood rivalries, but then Blake escalated the situation by contributing to a New York Times article. In it, she shared selectively edited text messages that painted Justin as a manipulative figure who overshadowed her on set. While the article initially garnered sympathy for Blake, the edited text conversations raised suspicions. Emojis were removed, lines cut, and messages rearranged, prompting Justin's legal team to highlight these discrepancies and question the authenticity of her claims. But that was just the beginning. Blake also accused producer Jamie Heath of showing her inappropriate footage under the guise of discussing a scene. According to multiple sources, the footage in question was an intimate and artistic depiction of Jamie's wife giving birth, meant to serve as a reference for a labor scene. Yet Blake described it as graphic and inappropriate. As more details emerged, the public began to wonder if Blake was exaggerating personal creative differences, and allegations surfaced that she had tried to undermine Justin's authority, despite his central role as both director and actor.
It's believing that people and humanity are inherently good, and they crave nutritious food in their soul just as they do in their bodies.
Leaked notes from producers revealed Blake's desire for more control over the film, including requesting final cut privileges, access to all daily footage, and even proposing her own creative direction, which would have bypassed Justin's role as director. It appeared that she was so confident in her influence that she believed she could push him out entirely. Some reports suggest that Blake threatened to pull out of promotional duties if her demands weren't met, putting pressure on the production company to comply. Tensions continued to rise during the film's premiere when Justin claimed he and his family were intentionally placed in a basement area away from the rest of the cast at Blake and Ryan's request to avoid any interaction with the main cast. In a typical film premiere, the writer and director would take center stage, but Justin felt sidelined, interpreting this as a deliberate attempt to diminish his role. The involvement of Taylor Swift, referred to by Blake as her dragon, echoing the powerful creatures from Game of Thrones, added more drama. Blake's texts about having the best dragons suggested she saw her influential circle, Ryan and Taylor, potentially as key players to push her agenda, though it's unclear whether she aimed for public support or behind-the-scenes leverage. Adding to the controversy were accusations that Justin had inappropriately commented on Blake's postpartum body, allegedly asking others about her weight. While this sparked rumors of a confrontation between Ryan and Justin, other accounts suggest Justin's concern was purely practical, as he needed to know Blake's weight for a physically demanding scene to avoid injury. Messages showed Justin offering her encouragement and support, undermining the claim of body shaming. Additionally, Blake's lawsuit accusing Justin of pushing intimate scenes without an intimacy coordinator raised further questions.
So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
Blake's legal claims, particularly in the Me Too era, raised serious concerns about workplace boundaries. However, earlier interviews with her paint a different picture, with Blake discussing the film's existing intimacy coordinator and even mentioning that she playfully took on part of the coordinator's role by suggesting ideas for steamy scenes. Behind-the-scenes footage shows friendly conversations between Blake and Justin about staging moments, including a slow dance scene, which she now claims made her uncomfortable. The phrase she cites in her lawsuit, "It smells so good," appears to have been a casual comment about the room's scent or her perfume, rather than anything predatory. Once these details emerged, her lawsuit seemed less convincing, especially to those who had hoped it reflected real concerns. The contrast between Blake's legal accusations and the evidence from text messages, video footage, and first-hand accounts is stark. Her claims touch on significant issues like postpartum struggles, personal boundaries, and workplace respect, topics that are important and deserve attention. Yet her tone in private conversations with Justin reflects a more collaborative dynamic, leading many to question whether she believed these exchanges would stay private, allowing her to present a different story publicly and in court. Hollywood executives are now watching the situation closely, with many studios that once sought to cast Blake now taking a cautious approach. Insiders say they're wary of any new revelations that could further damage her brand, which had been built on professionalism and relatability, traits that made her a star. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, though undoubtedly affected by the situation, has found an unexpected surge of sympathy, illustrating how digital evidence can rapidly unravel even the most carefully constructed narratives.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it.
It is.
It's
And I
very
love-
simple.
The future of Blake Lively's reputation is a topic of much speculation. If she chooses to stay quiet following legal advice, people may interpret it as an indication of guilt or a lack of defense. On the other hand, if she speaks out further, she risks exposing more inconsistencies that Justin's legal team could use against her. To complicate matters, certain media figures, notably Megyn Kelly, have pledged to ensure that all pertinent documents and recordings are made public, effectively preventing any attempts to keep them hidden. While the legal battle continues, public opinion can be quick and harsh. There's also the possibility that Blake's claims may contain some truth that hasn't yet come to light, overshadowed by the dramatic nature of the case. Hollywood is known for its behind-the-scenes politics, and it's not impossible that Blake could have had genuine concerns. However, the exaggerations in her claims, coupled with clear evidence contradicting her statements, are making it increasingly difficult for impartial observers to defend her. Instead of revealing real issues, her narrative mostly highlights inconsistencies that undermine her credibility. Each new revelation seems to erode her standing, especially when actions like requesting a gag order have raised suspicions. If her claims were truly accurate, critics argue, there would be no reason to limit public access to the conversation. This move only adds to the perception that she is trying to control the narrative and prevent further damaging information from coming out. Former supporters, once eager to defend her, are now waiting cautiously to see how things unfold before deciding whether to continue backing her. Likewise, fellow industry figures are hesitant to take sides until more concrete details emerge. While Justin Baldoni isn't emerging unscathed, it's clear that much of the turmoil stems from Blake's narrative and the evidence that contradicts it. Some observers believe that in the process, Blake may have unintentionally given Justin a platform and sympathy he might not have otherwise received. Ultimately, this situation serves as a reminder of how quickly modern technology can expose the hidden truths behind a public persona, something celebrities in the past could manage more easily.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. We had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yeah.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
In today's world, where text messages and videos can surface at any time, revealing personal details once thought to be private, Blake Lively is facing an uphill battle. As the public quickly forms its opinion, she may be approaching a point of no return. Some critics compare her situation to a house of cards teetering on the edge of collapse, with every new piece of evidence acting like a breeze, threatening to bring it all down. If Blake set out to undermine Justin to protect her image, it seems she may have miscalculated. Instead of preserving her reputation, she risks causing irreparable harm to a career once built on glamour and relatability. The speculation is growing that her legal fights might soon culminate in a dramatic moment where all the hard evidence, texts, videos, and depositions become an official part of the public record. This is a daunting prospect for any celebrity, but especially one whose brand hinges on likability and charm. Once these details are made part of the legal proceedings, they stop being mere gossip or tabloid fodder. They become documented facts. The key question now is whether Blake is the mastermind behind a narrative designed to shape public opinion, or if she genuinely felt wronged but took a flawed approach to exposing it. With each new revelation, it's becoming increasingly clear that her story may not hold up under scrutiny. While it's still too early to definitively declare the entire truth, the evidence thus far shows that a large portion of Blake's claims contradict the actual record, creating a significant trust gap. This gap may be impossible to close. Now the world is waiting. Studios, fans, and critics are all watching closely to see whether Blake can repair the damage to her once spotless reputation, or if she is headed for a period of lasting public doubt and industry reluctance. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni continues his career, likely frustrated by the turmoil, but finding support in the wave of sympathy growing around him. Time will tell whether the legal process will provide a clear resolution, or if this saga will remain a cautionary tale about the dangers of underestimating the power of evidence and the unpredictability of public opinion. The irony is striking. Blake spent years crafting an image of elegance and charm, only to see it shaken by the very forces she once expertly navigated: media narratives and public scrutiny. Even if new evidence comes to light, it seems unlikely to undo the damage already done. For now, Blake appears on the brink of a fall more dramatic than any role she's played. And this time, there's no script or retakes, only the courtroom and the unforgiving eye of the public to decide her fate. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.